Hello friends, it's your favorite neighborhood nerd Simone. I'm back from traveling. I got back Tuesday night. Today's Friday and it is the very first day that I'm actually sitting at my desk after I got back. I took my motivation and put it into cleaning my house the last 2 days. Today was the first day that I went back to work and it's Friday afternoon and I'm feeling like I want to do something, but I actually don't know what. So I thought, you know what? I could unpack my travel bag. I have a video where I showed what I took. And the first thing that came to mind when I thought to unpack and maybe share a little of what we did or show you my journal that I didn't use much for the trip. Open up my pen case because I was very diligent about traveling nib up on my planes, but the very last leg of the travel I completely forgot. And I noticed when we've been in the air for like 15 minutes already. And so I decided, yeah, well, I guess I'm just gonna leave it and see what happens. So I haven't opened any of this yet. So I wanted to look into this with you. It's also the middle of August. These pens have been inked for quite a while. I just want to check when I inked them all. June 28th was the last stuff that I inked. Wow, that's a long time. I haven't used them much at all. That is sure. Is there anything different here? No. So even though I haven't used them for a while, yeah, they're nice, but also not too much. There's 2 entries that I still need to do in my journal. And I think I shared that did I change the cover before I left for the trip? Or did I just change it because so I want to use the green and the red right here, this one and this one, if they're still working, to journal. But then I feel like I'm quite okay with just using whatever other pen I ink. And so I would like to change inks in pens, but also I'm so out of it that I have no idea what I even want. I could just I feel like if I put those away and didn't look for them for the next 5 months, I wouldn't even remember I had fountain pens. I also didn't watch any YouTube videos or besides some Instagram posts here and there. I followed along in my Discord, didn't post much at all. I just didn't have the capacity, which I think is totally fine. Now I'm just talking with my hands and this is the same image. But there wasn't much happening. I was really removed from the stationery community and the stationery world. And I felt like that was a really good reset. But also, I'm a little out of it. And I started watching YouTube the other night, videos from the middle of July, which are completely irrelevant. But also, I love watching currently inked videos. If that was my whole feed, only watching currently inked videos, that would be totally fine for me. So I've been getting this itch to do stuff, but also I don't really know what I want to do. So I thought if I unpack and chat with you for a little while. Maybe that would lead me to a direction that I want to go. And so here we are. Even this cap here has some water in here. I don't know if it's because of the heat or I don't even remember. Oh, I also took the Wren, which is a Tom Studio pen, and I put in some black ink. Nothing happened to this. I didn't expect anything to happen to it, but okay, so it does work. It does not dry out. Maybe that is that dry out? It definitely had a little hard start, but now it works. And I think I put document black in here. De atramentis. I haven't used this at all, but I feel like document black. So what I've noticed, now I'm getting rambly and all over the place, but I noticed that, let me show you a page here in this monthly overview specifically. This is August. I haven't done anything in here, but this is written with a Jetstream. So Uni Jetstream 0.5 ballpoint. And I feel like it gets lost. I don't really see what I need to see. And so I've been actually wondering if maybe it would be better if I wrote with an ink color or something that is a little bolder. And so I'm thinking of maybe even switching to this in here. Not sure. Because this is ink, needs to dry, need to figure out the dry time, but definitely this is more visible in this planner if I'm using a black ink. This is not black enough for me to be able to gather the information that I'm supposed to gather. The weeklies that I'm using right now, let me show you one that is like right here. It's okay here, but in a busy environment, on a busy spread like this, the Jetstream kind of gets lost. So there was no, ink deposit into the cap in the Wren. Let's look at this Esterbrook SD. I can already see ink. I wonder how much is left in the cartridge. So this is, and you can see also in the grip section right here, there is ink. So I guess what I'm going to do with all of this is go downstairs to the kitchen sink and then just clean all of these pens. So if do I have my glass of cleaning? I usually have a glass here where I store all of my pens, but it's not here. I don't even know where that would be then if it's not here. Okay, well, hold on. So I brought my tray where I usually, after I rinse the pens and clean them, where I put them to dry. I'm also going to take my pen cleaner glass. I made this myself with, I followed the recipe on the well-appointed desk. And I don't know what is in here. Distilled water, a tiny drop of dish detergent, and I don't know. What is that called? Ammonium, maybe? Maybe that's what it is. So let's look at the next one. This is a Sailor. Everything fine with this one. And it's still writing. It's very dark, but the ink color is Tintype by Birmingham Pen Company, and that has been I'm not sure that I want to unink this now. Okay, let's just keep this here for now. Let's just clean all of the ones that are not usable anymore to see what is left and then decide what I want to do. This one also discharged some ink into the cap. Where's the paper towel? Right here. Let's see how dark this is. This is the pen that I would like to use. Well, not as dark as I had assumed. So I can still use this to write. This is Diamine Evergreen is in here. Ooh, look at this. Not good. So when I traveled to Germany, and there is also a little bit of, maybe that is because I don't think it leaked out of the grip section actually, like out of the threads here. How much ink is left to here? So let's see if this still writes. Yep. The ink is also did not discolor. I just would need to at least rinse the cap for sure. I would love to keep, I would love to journal for at least that one journal entry with this pen, but I need to clean the cap. What was I going to say? So this can stay. What happened here? There's definitely also this one. I could have just closed. Oh, I did close it, but there was still ink in here. So this discharged. Nothing writes. I guess there's no ink in the feed then. So all of the ink that was in the feed is probably in the cap. Let's see if it'll write if we can prime it a little. Yeah. So I really liked the color palette that I had inked. This orange isn't here anymore, and the Sundio is not here anymore. I think that's also a reason why maybe, I don't know. No, I do want to ink up other pens. I have some awesome ones, but I'm really comfortable in this type of color palette. So I don't know if I'm like, I've seen people there's so many people who use samples. I have my ink bottles for sure. We know that. And I don't know where I would even look what colors I would want. So I guess this is probably ready to be cleaned. Even though I really liked the ink in this pen. Well, that's what happens when you travel. Oh yes, I remember what I was going to say. The ink in this pen is actually Pelikan Edelstein Apatite. So when I traveled to Germany, I had my nibs and pens nib up in the pocket in front of my seat in the planes that I flew on. Was the first step that I took every time I got on the plane. I would open my backpack, put the pen case in the pocket, and that was it. But the last leg of the flight was just too much, and I didn't remember and completely forgot. And when I went to Germany, I checked on my pens the day after I got there, and everything was perfectly fine. There was no ink discharge into the caps in any of the pens. And I basically took all different types. I took cartridge converters. I have, this one is an eyedropper fill. This one and this one are both, what is that? piston fillers. This one is a vacuum filler pen. So I did have all types of pens with me, and none of them leaked. This one is fine. Nope, there is a drop right here. Let's clean this off. There's more here. Yeah, I'm really surprised that even though I didn't really use my pens much at all when I was away, that the evaporation, the discoloration of the actual ink in the pen is basically zero. This one took a while to start writing. This is darker. This is the same. This one is almost the same. I would assume that because this is an ebonite feed, yeah, there is a lot of ink here. That did not work out really well. Oh, look at here. Jeez. Okay, so this needs cleaning for sure. I feel like the last time that I used this pen, I had the same thing happen with it when I drove just over the mountains. And now I'm closing it again. That was totally unnecessary. So this one needs to go. It's interesting. This one has a Ultim feed. That's what is said, is that the Monarch nibs are quite wet. That's why it's not necessarily suggested, or you should be aware that if you eyedropper this nib in a pen, it might be very, very wet. So this is wet. This is an ebonite feed that usually also transports a lot of ink to the nib. You saw how big it is. That those are the ones that have more ink in. Oh, this one needs rinsing. More ink in the caps than the ones that don't. So there is ink right here, as you can see. This is also a Monarch nib. And this ink is, I do not know. Oh, this is not Diamine Evergreen. This is Diamine Evergreen. This is Troublemaker Hanging Rice. And so even though I said it didn't discolor much, it totally did, because Hanging Rice is more of an olivey green. Nope, that's not what I wanted to show you, like right here. So obviously this is almost the same color as Diamine Evergreen compared to Troublemaker Hanging Rice. Now this looks like if I just rinse the cap, I would be totally fine. Let's see how much ink is left. There's a lot of ink. So I probably will continue using this. And then let's see how my eyedroppered Mayfair pen did. There is ink right here in the threads. There's a lot of shimmer right here. Well, the question now is, does it even write? Yeah, this is so weird. Weird in the sense that this is an eyedroppered pen. There is a ton of shimmer in this feed and on this nib, and it still works right out of the box. It even Wow, I'm impressed. So I guess I'm just gonna move on or continue working with a reduced number of pens until I know what I actually want to do. Maybe if I look at my fountain pens that I have, uninked, that aren't inked, maybe there is something that I want to ink. I've been thinking about this Bone Crusher 7 Studios. I'm really I'm so not uninspired. When I'm looking at this, I oh my God, these pens are so nice. And I like touching them, and they're so nicely polished, and the sparkle and the glitter looks nice. But it's not like I need to take this and ink it with an ink because I cannot live without it. I'm like, what is happening? What is this? Maybe it's just still recovering from vacation, from all the impressions that I had. It's weird. It's so weird. And I'm still so tired, especially at night. My sailors. Oh yeah, who was that? 1911 large. Yes. I am Lively Laura Lively, something lovely Laura. I don't know. It's in my head, but I don't really know the lovely Laura, maybe. Also a YouTuber here shared a currently inked for July, I believe, where she inked the Sailor 1911 large Cthulhu, and that was one of when I thought maybe I want to ink this one again. Yeah, man, I don't know, people. That is definitely a thing. And there's definitely pens that I'm gravitating towards more than others. It's not something that I'm yet. There's a yet. Yeah, I'm not gravitating towards this one. The nib in this one isn't the greatest. So I've also thought maybe I want to ink up these two. They're both the same pen, same nib size, with the same ink, just to see if I notice a difference. And so it's weird. I like touching them. Maybe I just need to continue touching them. I'm kind of, yes, I know I engraved this with mansplain and misogyny, but I love that it is this neon grip section and this neon button, whatever this finial, there we go. But also I'm super uninspired by this color. This is so boring. And now I don't really know what to do. Do I sell this with this inscription? Maybe someone else loves it as well. So that's the current state of my ambition, of my love affair or not with my pens. I think I'm going to take these as well and just, use a wet wipe and wipe them around. And I'm not meaning a wet wipe that is one of those disinfecting wipes, just a paper towel that I wet down to clean the grip sections off and rinse the caps, and then I can continue doing this. But this is going to move to the side for now. Hold please. Ugh. I did buy quite a bit of book stuff while I was in Germany, and these are the ones that I brought back home. I didn't really need to bring this I didn't need to bring this. I finished 3 books while I was gone, and I need to write down the 22 Lanes is the name of this, the prequel to this. If you're German and you haven't read 22 Bahnen or Windstärke 17, I really, really liked the writing. The topics are quite hard, actually. So please make sure that you check for trigger warnings. It's like basically almost everything in those. Everything you can think of could be a trigger. That could be a trigger is in those books. There's alcoholism, kind of like neglect, suicidal thoughts, drugs, which, I mean, alcohol is a drug as well. But this got me. I have a favorite author right now. I loved the writing. I went to bookstores and I was like, what would I even buy here? Because obviously there's a lot of translated American authors, and I don't really see it doesn't make sense to me to buy a book that is translated into German by an American author where I probably pay more for the same book that I can actually read in the original language back here. So that was the first epiphany that I had when I went into the German bookstore. It's like, oh, I don't even know what to look for. And so I went through the shelves, I looked at bestsellers and all the things, and then I was like, you know what I could focus on while I'm here is German authors. And so I bought 3 books over the course of quite a bit. So I went to different bookstores and bought more and more. I started out with 2. The first one of this author, 22 Lanes, is the literal translation. I would love for this book to be picked up by this author, to be picked up and translated, because I think it deserves a bigger audience. However, so I bought the first one and decided, you know what, I can still come back to a different bookstore and pick up the second, because I don't know if I like it. And then I bought a mystery thriller, also by a German author, that totally did not work for me. I read this author first and I was like, I wasn't sure if the language in this book was just so good that I just could not stomach the plain and weird writing. And then I looked if the author was actually German. Yes. So these were actual German words and sentences strung together that just felt so off to me that I just DNF'd it and I gifted it to my mother-in-law. You think of this what you want. I thought, just now that when I'm saying it out loud, I think it's hilarious. And then when I went back to the bookstore, I also bought 2 games. That's why I went back to another bookstore. I bought this and this at the same time. This one is not a German author. I think this is a Norwegian author. However, it does it deals with the Second World War? Yes, Second World War, and a topic that I had never heard of. I've read so many novels, not just novels, not just fiction, also nonfiction about Second World War when I was maybe 14 to that topic like had a grip on me for a long time during my youth, into adulthood. I basically read everything I could get my hands on that sounded interesting to me about the Second World War, various different aspects of it as well. And this topic I have not ever heard of before. And I don't know if this is translated into other languages. This is the author, Trude Teige. This is how I would pronounce it. And it says here that she is one of the most known authors, TV moderators, and journalists in Norway. And I definitely felt that journalism aspect through this. You could sense that the author is not just a fiction writer. That is definitely something that I noticed when I read this. But this is about a Norwegian woman who falls in love with a German soldier and is marries him, and then loses her Norwegian, is that nationality? So they basically say her, well, you fell in love with this loser. This is at the end of the war. You are not a Norwegian anymore. She loses her Norwegian passport, they take it away from her. And so it's basically just after World War II. And it describes the way, first of all, it's present timeline and past. It just describes the way in the past how Großmutter is grandmother came to Germany and what the destruction looked like, how Russians and Americans and English people behaved, like the soldiers that came and conquered Germany, how they behaved, how Germans behaved during that time. It was very interesting. And if you're interested in the Second World War, I would recommend finding this one and see if there is a translation in your language. Oh, no. Okay. I was like, what? Swedish? But Norway. Yeah. That was interesting. I really, totally different writing style. A lot of things are different. The only thing that I didn't like is the different fonts. So this is the present timeline, and then this is the past timeline. And this just totally threw me off every time timelines changed. I did not need a different font to indicate that it's now present. That was just not cool. And then, where was that? Where did I buy this? Oh yeah. I went back to the very first bookstore that I was at, and I saw this. And because I have loved the Traveling Cat Chronicles, I think is what it's called, I read the back and it sounds really funny. And so I grabbed this one as well. It's, I think there is some narration by the cat, but I don't know. I haven't started it yet. And then I got this one. I really love the artist János. And so there's always questions here. Herr János, what's the secret of love? Never say anything negative. It doesn't really matter what happens. And I just bought it for the pictures and because what is this called? The publisher is located in my very first hometown. Basically, this is where I was born, and there's a weird sentimental attachment to this specific yellow reclam. And so I saw it. I saw János. I saw the pictures and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take this home with me. I don't even know why I'm talking about all of this, but helps me too. And then I was in an area that is called Nationalpark Sächsische Schweiz. And when I was at the bookstore, I picked up some postcards because I really loved how they looked. And this is the landscape there. It's so beautiful. This is the River Elbe. I don't even know what this is. Oh, Königstein. Okay, I didn't go there. But the place that we stayed at, you were able to see these popping out. This is also Königstein. Yeah. But I just loved the moodiness of these images. And then I bought doubles because I want to send some. And then I got this one twice. So I haven't written any. I haven't even picked people that I want to send these to. I don't know if I want to put one into my journal. I haven't thought about this yet, but the time that I spent here, I didn't have any ephemera of the stuff that we did. I do have quite a bit of footage of the hikes that we did though, and I need to look at the stuff and see if I can put it together somehow. Oops, I hope you didn't hear me touch the mic right now. But maybe we can, where's my journal? What if, so let's try this. So this is that 1 week, and then Monday, Tuesday, so if I cut this apart and maybe just glue it in here and then put a little snippet, yeah, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. Maybe even down here, and then I could, put a little, maybe even a bullet point list of the things that we did. Because I want to commemorate it, I would love to have a picture or something that indicates the scenery where we were. So that's a done deal now. And then I'm able to pass along these. I don't really want to keep them. I just bought them to be able to send them out to people. And then I brought stuff to someone. I don't even know what's in here. Oh yeah, I remember. Ha, okay. So this is a Christmas gift from last year that my friends didn't send out. So they found it when I visited them and they gave it to me. But the other thing that happened was that I was contacted, now I don't even remember her name. Eva is her name, Eva in German. And she asked me if I could bring something. I brought 2 things to people and shipped them from where I was. And so I ordered, I think the road trip, she ordered it to my place here, and I packed it up and took it with me to Germany and shipped it to her. And she was like, I can send you stuff. And I decided, you know what? I have so much stuff. I don't need anything. And also, it's okay. I can just do something and earn some karma points, and that's it. And we don't need to, I don't have to get something in return for that favor I'm doing for that person, is what I'm trying to say. But she had the idea that she found the perfect thing that I would want. And so she sent me a little care package to my friend's house. And oh my God, these are so cool. I love the covers that she made. So basically, this is swatches that she photocopied or scanned in and then printed out in different sizes on different paper. This is kind of cardstock-like. And bound this whole A5 insert for me. And look how amazing this even looks. It's just so amazing. And I feel like totally spoiled. So there's 2 different papers. This is the original Tomoe River paper. 52 GSM. There's actually even the title page in here, like the paper cover. So that is this notebook. Isn't this just so nicely made? I don't know, if this isn't your job, maybe you should. Oh, you just sent the paper. Did you click? What? Where's the... Am I stupid? Where's the thing? There. This is so well made and so lovely. So that is super cool. And this is so funny because we just talked on my Discord. Someone asked for washi paper, and this is washi sticker paper. Craftelier writable washi paper. But I think, isn't this sticky? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm completely... Yep. See? Wow. So cool. I could print on this. Stickers, for instance. And then these are washi stickers like this one. And this one is also a washi sticker, but maybe she stamped on this one. I love this. So cool. So let's just wrap it back up. And then maybe we can just call it done. I can show you what I did in the other journal, in this journal. And then this is the first video after I got back. All the others were filmed before. This is a traveler's notebook insert, and this one, same cover thing. I'm like so amazed by the quality of these inserts. It's just wow. This is Brunnen, is the manufacturer of the paper, 60 grams. And this is called Der Grüne Block. And I feel like I saw a YouTube video, I'm not sure, maybe it's Heart's Feelings, where she talked about this paper. And I heard, or she writes here, that "60 GSM Brunnenpapier of the green, der grüne Block, the green block, the green paper pad," which is supposed to be really good for fountain pens. And so she made another insert for me with that paper, traveler's size format. I'm blown away. Like, yes, I know I had to pay, like, yeah. Oh, I still have euros in here, right? Is there? Maybe I used them for something. I'm not sure. She also included postage in euros, because I had to obviously buy postage to send it to her. And that was super, super duper cool. And then she even made this from... I would love to hear the story of why you made this. And like, that is so cool. I find people are the most amazing, inspiring people. Like, this is, I would never have thought of this. I don't know why you made this, and I don't like, but such artsy people. And I'm so lucky to know you all. So, what else is in here? As I said, I didn't really use much of the stuff. I used the glue stick the most. I'm glad I brought my scissors, which I don't really know where they are right now. I looked through this, I think, and I'm glad I did this. I slimmed it down a little bit. This is very usable right now, in my opinion, and I really like the thickness of this. This is my ephemera TN with all the stickers and stuff inside. So I need to, I'm going to link it in the description box below if you're interested in that. And there's no more ephemera here. And now my ear is starting to ring. That's odd. So this is the last entry that I made. So I didn't make any more entries here. I started this. I don't know if you were with me when I started it. I did. Oh yes, I think I talked about this in my very last, probably the one that I shared on Wednesday, that I swapped around my journal, and that the beginning of this would be while I'm away, which would make it even harder to get into this. However, I like this. I like how this is starting. It's very cluttered again. I'm very cluttery, as you know. I love filling up the pages all the way. Then I started here what I wanted to write, but I just didn't have enough time. And even if I think I would have had enough time, I just didn't have the brain space to think what I wanted to write. I knew the topics, but not I didn't have the brains to formulate words, is basically what I wanted to say. But now I don't. Oh, yes. Yeah. This is cool. And then so we got there Friday. This is what the beginning of the week. Then I'm just putting it out all down. It doesn't start here and goes to here somehow. It's just gonna work somehow. And then that was the week that I spent with my family. That was the week that we spent with my husband's family. We drove back to Munich, the place where we arrived, and our airport of choice, basically. And then we still had another day in Munich, which we didn't spend in Munich directly. We spent it in the place that my kids grew up, or until my oldest was 10. And we spent the whole day going to all the places that they remembered and wanted to revisit from their childhoods. And it was really a lovely day. And so this week. I want to put this right here somewhere. I don't even know what I want to write here. Oh, I want to put some cleaning stuff here. But yeah, you can clearly see that there's not a lot of writing here. I'm not super concerned. This postcard is going to save me from having to put stuff here that I don't really know how. Yeah. I just want to have snippets of those days. And what I started to do, but what I also wasn't able to keep up with, is on the dailies here in this, not the dailies, what am I saying? The weekly stuff here. I actually used my blue pen to write down what happened. Even in more detail than I need to write something here. So I got to the 4th, but like I still need to fill in everything all the way to the 12th. And I really am working on that right now in my 5 minutes of downtime that I took when I was cleaning and waiting for my steam cleaner to reheat. If you need a cleaning tool, if you're like a gadget person and you need a cleaning tool that is fun, get a steam cleaner. I can't wait to clean again. So that was semi-successful, but I really like doing these, so I'm able to jog my memory, and I also don't have to write every single detail that I kind of remember still, or that I might want to one day look back on or recall. I don't have to put it into my journal. Okay, is that it? Am I done? I think so. I feel like I'm really feeling good talking about this. My desk, I don't even know why I bother cleaning it up, because it never feels like it's not messy. But I do think that this is a great start to being back here in my studio. I hate calling it craft room, but it feels very ambitious to call it studio. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really loved hanging out with you, sitting here, getting back into the groove of things. There's so much potential. Yeah, that's it from me. In short, I loved reading the books. Oh, I took some knitting. I'm gonna show that to you, and then I'm gonna call it quits for realsies. So I wasn't sure if I even wanted to bring knitting on my trip, because I wasn't sure if I would have time. I also was afraid that if I was too anxious on my flight and I would tense up totally, my back would probably be very fragile. So I didn't want to take something that might not even work, or take it, be inspired to knit even though I know that wouldn't be the most useful thing for my health, my body in that moment. But there were some minutes where I was able to, and if I had not been as afraid as I actually was to knit for 2 extended periods of time, so I really just maybe knit half a row or 1 row during the time that I was knitting, I would have probably made a lot more progress. And especially for the times when, I don't know if that's happening with your families of origin, but we have a lot of baggage. And even though I love them dearly, sometimes it's a lot to deal with. And then when you're far away, you're like, oh, they're all fine. Everything's going to be great. And then you're there and you're like, well, they're still the same people they were before you left. And nothing has changed, really. So knitting would have been the perfect escape to deal with all of that. But I just didn't trust myself to know when to stop knitting. So I didn't do that. I did read a lot of books because of the fact that families are hard and there's a lot of trauma. And I come from a family with 5 children. So when we're all together with our kids, it's a lot. And then my husband comes from a family with 2 kids, and they are weird too, even though they're only 2. So that was a lot of people before I left, it was like, are you excited for your trip? And I wasn't even sure that I was. It turned out much better than I anticipated, but still, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm visiting family. What do you expect? And I would totally go. I did when we still lived in Germany. We went on vacation with my whole family or the people that had time and wanted to go almost every year. And it was a lot of fun. And we have a lot of fun, but we also have a lot of, stuff that comes up often. That's a lot to talk about. I don't know. I just want to tell you that this is how it is. And when you visit family, it's not the most relaxing and fun holiday. So this would have been cool. This is where I left off. So this much is what I got done. I think that's a lot for someone who hasn't knit in almost, well, I did that mitten, but it also triggered my shoulder again, so I overdid it there for sure. Who hasn't knit in a long time. And I'm very proud that I didn't trigger anything. And I got these are Fox and Pines needle stoppers. And I thought they were weird gadgets, but they were amazing while traveling for sure. So that is the Second Avenue wrap, and I started this years ago. Here's how rudimentary I'm keeping track of where I am right now with these dots. Every time I finish a row, I will put a dot here. So I'm basically, if this is the schematic of the shawl, I'm basically right here. I'm starting from this side. So if I'm knitting at the pace that I am knitting at, it's going to take several more years to finish. I'm glad I took this though, because it was very no-brainy. There was knitting, purling, and then some yarn overs and knit togethers, but only 1 row every like 10 rows or so. I was thinking of taking the dotted rays. I purchased this pattern just before I left. Yeah, nope. I'm glad I didn't do that. Now I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. I am so happy to be back. Can't wait to share some footage of my travels. And I hope to see you again soon. Until next time. Bye.